It means a lot to me that our exhibit is part of the show. I think it is such a wonderful tradition that we have here at Temple Ambler.
It's a very unique experience that allows me to get a new opportunity in incorporating native plants into beautiful displays.
It allows us to see the hard work that we've all put in and the expertise of people like our greenhouse manager, Ben, as well as everything that we're learning.
For me, being a part of that is just really special.
When selecting the plant palette to reflect the themes of this year's exhibit, we were focusing mainly on native species, but we were also highlighting introduced species that the Bartrams helped bring to this area through their plant trades with Europe and other regions. With Bartram's Garden and the William and John Bartram, they were exploring all sorts of native plants for our region and then also working as a nursery and importing plants from foreign areas as well. So they were a hub of botanical activity in our region. Our plant selection reflects that by including natural and non-native species in our plant palette.
Most of what I'm working on for the flower show is pest management, keeping things watered, and also forcing plants, so keeping them in correct temperatures and moving them around between our hoop house and greenhouse to make sure that they flower or leaf out at the time for the show.
One big thing that I had to do on one of my first days working was dig out a bunch of skunk cabbage, which you can see featured in the exhibit. There's a lot of uppotting that needs to happen in order to get all of the plant's root space accustomed to bigger spaces for when they go out into the exhibit on the convention center floor.
Moving all these trees and shrubs kind of back and forth, either whether we're trying to speed up their leaf out time or we're trying to slow down if they're like flowering a little bit too much.
For many of the native species that we're using in our exhibit, they require what's called a vernalization or a cold dormancy period. Since we're trying to get them to flower earlier in the season than they normally would, we need to move their entire schedule up. So we actually use walk-in coolers to give them an artificial winter ahead of time, and then we'll bring them out, depending on their schedule, into the greenhouse, give them artificial light, artificial humidity to make them think it is summertime. For larger plants like our trees and shrubs, they will go into plastic tents that you'll see throughout our greenhouse. These are pretty much mini greenhouses within a greenhouse with even higher temperatures and higher humidities than our standard growing areas. By being an exhibitor that grows all of our own plants here on site at Temple University Ambler, we're able to give our students hands-on experience working with a tight deadline, problem solving, addressing the issues as they arise with our crops, and making sure that everything is ready on day zero when we install our plants and everything is judged.
When I'm working with a plant, I get to really know and understand the plant. I get to know what it needs, how often it might need to be watered, if it dries out really quickly, its life cycles, its whole morphology, really.
Hands-on learning is a really big benefit to me. It gives me a more in-depth look at what I'm doing when I'm designing landscapes. So, you know, what the ecological effects of the plants that I'm using are and how I can use that to benefit our communities.
I'm a very visual learner, and having hands-on things just helps to reinforce that, I feel. It's more interactive, and I feel like that really helps some topics click.
One of the new plants we're doing this year are gooseberries and currants. So this really spiny one here, this is a gooseberry, and then the one behind it is a currant. We do have native species. These are non-native European species that were brought over by the early colonists and are used for a food source for making jams, jellies, preserves, things like that. They also have very attractive fruit, so they add some ornamental aspect to your landscape as well. Every year in our exhibit, we often try to feature some sort of water feature and show how plants can be used to help clean water and stabilize stream banks and things like that. This year's no different, so we will be incorporating some of our wetland plants, including this one here, which is the soft rush, Juncus effusus, which is a native species that you'd find growing along stream banks. It's actually in flower right now, has really cool hollow stems and these small wind-pollinated flowers on the top. Hydrangea quercifolia is a really great native species. We have not used this one in many, many years, so it's cool seeing it back in the exhibit this year. We're growing it for mainly the foliage, has these big oak-like leaves. It also does have exfoliating reddish peeling bark as it ages. One of our returning favorites, a plant that has been featured in our past 8 exhibits at least, is the ostrich fern, Matutia struthiopteris. These are actually dug up by our students from beds here on campus and then used in the show. After the show, it comes back to campus, gets replanted, and then dug up again for future shows. So some of these may have been at the convention center for 4 or 5 times right now. Ferns make a great landscape plant, which is why we like to highlight them for our visitors. They're deer resistant, and tolerate many different soil types, especially these like ostrich fern, which are very vigorous.
Something that makes Temple's horticulture program unique is the close, tight-knit community it forms. It is a very small but mighty major here at Temple. We have great teachers, great professors that they're always down to kind of accommodate you and all of your needs.
Temple University offers a very valuable and diverse set of classes when it comes to a horticulture major. It's a set of classes that I wasn't really able to find anywhere else. I hope visitors just get to appreciate our native plants a little bit more.
I think that it's really valuable for people to see the beauty and the nature that we have right here in PA.
We hope that they're inspired to try this at their own property, either in containers or in their backyard, growing their own food, incorporating native species, and in the process creating a beautiful and natural habitat for wildlife and humans to enjoy at the same time.